Dwyane Wade was recently on a podcast with Lou Williams in which he talked about how the Pau Gasol trade had an effect on him and LeBron James in the sense that because of it, they eventually were motivated to team up together. I'm going to read out the quote right now. Pau Gasol to the Lakers changed everything. They was cheating. Memphis just gave him away. You just gonna give him to Kobe? Kobe gonna get 2 championships back to back? How we gonna compete with that? So we gotta do our thing. That's what Dwyane Wade said. He had a few more things to say, but I have to say he is right that Memphis did get Pau Gasol for absolutely nothing. When that trade went down, I didn't think it was real at the time. Or when I first heard about it, I was thinking, okay, the Lakers got Pau Gasol. They probably had to trade Lamar Odom and Andrew Bynum to get him. At least those two, just because Bynum was having a good season that year. He was, I think, averaging like a double-double. And Lamar Odom was always a very good player, borderline all-star, but had potential to be an all-star. Granted, it never happened in his career, but I was thinking it would take those two players and maybe another good role player to get Pau Gasol. But when I heard that the Lakers didn't even give up Lamar Odom or Bynum, it was just Kwame Brown and just at the time Marc Gasol, who was unnamed. I was just like, what the fuck? This is like a horseshit trade. This is a trade that even back in the day I couldn't even make on NBA 2K. This was a fucked up trade. So I definitely understand the anger because if we're being honest, Kobe was absolutely trash without Pau Gasol once Shaq left. He wasn't a winner. I remember Kobe talking all this garbage about when Shaq traded that he was going to get to be the man now and he was going to dominate the league and he was going to own the league and how easy it was going to be. I remember him talking all that garbage after Shaq was traded and then him falling miserably flat on his face. First year without Shaq, the Lakers are a lottery team. Second year without Shaq, he nearly pulls off an upset against the Suns team that does not have Amari Stoudemire, that's led by Steve Nash and Raja Bell and Boris Diaw. Granted, he chokes a 3-1 lead against them, so he still fails miserably in round one. Second year, pathetic exit in round one in which his team loses 4-1 in the best of 7. So they lost in 5 games the third year with him. So the results, 3 years without Shaq, lottery appearance, 2 first-round eliminations. No one takes the Lakers seriously or Kobe seriously or even fears him because they know he just can't win. He just doesn't have it in him to carry a team to the title. And I think even Kobe starts to feel that too because I remember during the summer of 2007, he started bitching and complaining about not having enough help and how he was angry at the Lakers for not trading Bynum for Jason Kidd. He made a video which was posted back then on social media before it really blew up now in today's social media age, but it blew up back then. It made it to ESPN. Everybody was talking about it. This guy complained, he bitched, he cried. The bottom line was he wasn't a threat until they got Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol just changed the trajectory of the league. Because once the Lakers got Pau Gasol for basically nothing, I don't want to hear from Laker fans like, well, Mark, he turned out to be great. Yeah, he turned out to be a very good player later on down the line. But even Mark at his best was not as good as Prime Gasol. Prime Gasol was basically a borderline superstar. He had led the Grizzlies to the playoffs, I think 3-4 years in a row, and to like a few 50-game win seasons, if I can recall, back when the West was super, super stacked and hyper competitive. I think the 2000s was like the most competitive era in the NBA, at least for the Western Conference. So Gasol was a damn good player, and they got him for like nothing, just absolutely nothing. So that definitely was a huge stimulus boost to their team. It was like a huge steroid injection, I felt, because once they got Pau Gasol, no one could really compete with the Lakers outside of the Boston Celtics. Just the Celtics were like the only team that could match up with them. The Lakers are very difficult because Pau Gasol was a great big man. He was, by the time he got to the Lakers, he was probably the top 3 power forward in the league at that time. Just ridiculously talented. So you have one great big man who's a 7-footer. You have an above average big man, Lamar Odom, who's borderline all-star talent. And then you have Bynum, who's a consistent double-double and shows flashes of being an all-star. So you had to deal with a team that has one great 7-footer, one above average 7-footer, and a guy who's like 6'10", 6'11", Lamar Odom, basically another 7-footer who's above average, who's an all-star talent player. That's a bad matchup for like 99% of teams, essentially, the way they were able to do that. Lakers pretty much were a mismatch for most of the league those 2 or 3 years they had Pau Gasol, because teams could not match up with the Gasol and Odom combo, and then Gasol and Bynum when they would trot out those lineups. They would overwhelm teams with just their ability to rebound. All three of those guys could get 10 or more rebounds a game. That was impossible to handle. Just impossible, literally. I remember there were games where Kobe would shoot so poorly, where he was creating brick mansions. He was shooting like shit shooting percentages, like 9 of 30 from the field, but it didn't matter that he put up 21 bricks, because those three guys cleaned up his bricks. They got easy putbacks from his bricks, dunks, layups, and the Lakers got tons of second chance points so they could mask Kobe's bad shooting, where prior to a trade they couldn't mask it. So he was exposed. So I definitely understand LeBron and Wade think it was unfair at the time, because Kobe got a stacked deck, and so the media just started praising him and just anointing him the best player in the league. But I didn't think he was. I thought he had a stacked deck, and he benefited from it. And they were thinking like, well, he got the deck stacked in his favor. Why don't we stack the deck in our favor? So that's what their mentality was. But Kobe escaped that criticism of the deck being stacked in his favor due to that bullshit trade. But I guarantee you, if they had gotten Pau Gasol through free agency, I think they would have gotten more criticism of how unfair it is. Or maybe they won't, because the Lakers are like the flagship team in the league. It doesn't matter what type of shady moves they do, trades or whatever. They're always exonerated, free of criticism. While if any other team pulls the same stunts, they're bashed. I felt what Miami did with LeBron and getting botched was no different what the Lakers do all the time, but they were bashed. Not to say either is right, when you look from like spirited competition of the game, but I just think the Lakers get free passes. So no, I don't blame them for doing what they did. I even made a video about this like several months ago. People got emotional and started criticizing me, saying I was full of shit when I said the reason why Wade and LeBron teamed up was because they saw the unfairness of how Kobe got the deck stacked in his favor, and they felt they had to do it too. But the only difference was they got bashed for doing it, while Kobe escaped scot-free due to the league allowing that bullshit trade to go through, and the media just always riding him. I would say just riding him because they really wanted him to be the next Jordan. Just they were desperate for him to be the face of the league. Granted, I didn't think he ever achieved that successfully, for being honest. He was always what I call the Diet Coke version of Jordan. But that's what I wanted to say. Just had to throw that out there.